Hey you want to learn how to play Stamina Nightblade? Today I'm going to be showing you my Stamina Nightblade build. Now this isn't the most effective build that you can run, but it's one of the most fun that I've played. It's a 2 ancient bow, traditional Stamblade build. We don't use cloak either. I like to use mist and shade. And this build is really solid for low CP players as well that are transferring and looking for something reliable and affordable and easy to obtain at the low CP range. I'm also a transfer from PlayStation, so for the last 3 months I've been trying to make builds basically on like a no grind budget, as least grind as I can to make it effective and still fun. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then keep watching, let's get into it. Starting with the character sheet boosts, I'm using the Jewels of Misrule Food. My race is a Khajiit for the crit damage. We are stacking a lot of crit damage on Nightblade. We are also going to be combining this with the Shadow Mundus Stone. This gives you 11% crit damage. For the curse, we are a stage 3 vampire. This basically gives us pariah at all times just for existing. If you don't have this in PvP, I don't know what you're doing. So getting into some of the stats here, we have 6200 weapon damage without one of our 5-piece sets procced. 6600 pen on the stat sheet, but we have a lot more in our skills, about 10k extra in our skills. We have 3000 stam recovery, very high recovery. I love my regen. And 2100 mag recovery. We have a lot of mag abilities on the bar, so we kind of need this. And the crit damage is actually really good on this build. Weapon critical rating, we sit at around 35.6%, and our crit damage is an extra 65%. And this is without race against time, so if you manage to fit that on your build, you could push that to 75 if you wanted to. So moving on to the gear, I'm going to start with the front bar. We have a Vateran's Battle Axe in Sharpened. So why do you want a Battle Axe? A Battle Axe is going to give you about 12% extra crit damage to work with, which is why we have such a big crit damage multiplier in our stat sheet. And you want Sharpened for the extra pen, it's just going to give you the most amount of damage. This item, while you have it, basically gives you up to 300 weapon damage as you fight people, and it gives you a reliable 2 to like 5k damage proc when you heavy attack somebody. It's pretty nice for whittling people down, and like let's say you hit a bow and then another medium attack. If your medium does like 3k, your Vate does 3k, your surprise attack does like 5k, and you do that like after an Incap, you're gonna chunk people. A lot of people just get bursted by this and they explode, and it's really funny. On the front we have double dot poisons. This is gonna be more burst damage than like a glyph typically, if these proc. These are really nice. On the back we have a Rallying Cry bow in Powered. Now for backbar trait, I go between Powered and Precise. I don't have Precise Research, so I just went with Powered. Powered is pretty reliable too. Rallying Cry, it's basically 2 sets in one, right? It gives you 300 weapon damage and 1600 crit resist. If you're solo and you're playing outnumbered, like it's really important to have a defense set right now. People hurt a lot. And Rallying Cry basically is a defense set and an offense set in one. This is also easy to buy from traders. You can literally buy a bow for like 20k and get all the jewelry for like 20k each. So this is a really accessible set, and it's probably one of the strongest in PvP right now. If you don't want to die, you know, wear Rallying Cry. It helps a lot. On the back bar, we have a Berserker enchant on this bow. It's important that you keep up your light attack weaving to keep this damage proc up. For the monster set, we have Battle Orgs. I do have a couple other options that you could run for monster set if you want to, but I run Battle Org for the most consistency. I mean, you just store up a bunch of ulti and then wham somebody, they're gonna die. You can also run Marsalok, which isn't tied to your ult and basically goes off every 10 seconds, and it's guaranteed damage. And it scales pretty high since we also apply a lot of negative effects in like the first attack. If you have like Reaper's Mark, Sundered, Incap, 2 poisons, you know, some other kind of status on a target, and let's say they're in a battleground, they have another 5 from somebody else, Marsalok is already going to do double damage. And it's guaranteed AoE dot damage, so even if they roll away from you, they're still going to be taking damage. It's a pretty nice set for confirming kills in battlegrounds, but like solo, it's not the most reliable monster set on a Nightblade. It's better on like sorc and stuff, but it's definitely worth a try. Another monster set you can try is Celine's. It's been hitting pretty hard lately, and it's AoE. It can also crit, and if you have a giant crit multiplier, it's going to hit pretty hard. For the body set, I've got on Wretched Vitality. This set just gives you all the sustain in the world. It literally gives you all the sustain, and it's why we can run a Shadow Mundus Stone as well. If we get regen from our body set, then we don't really need a Serpent Stone. What this set does, it basically gives you 1 line of each recovery in the 2, 3, and 4, and then while in combat, basically gives you 400 recovery that also scales with your potions and other passives. Really, really good set. I mean, it's one of my favorites. I run it basically on everything. If I don't know what to run, I put on Wretched. This is also a crafted set, so all you need is just somebody with a crafter, and you can get this set in like 10 minutes. So very accessible set. So other sets that you can run on the body instead of Wretched Vitality, if you're one of those guys that just doesn't like Wretched, you can run Essence Thief for sure. Essence Thief is also really good. You can run Clever Alchemist, you can run Acuity, you can run Stuns, you can run Ethereal Ascension, you can run Red Mountain. There's a bunch of sets that you can run. On the jewelry, I have 2 infused and 1 swift. The 2 infused have weapon damage glyphs, and the 1 swift has a stam recovery. I have 1 stam recovery just for the, it's just a safety net for myself. Just so I can, never run out of stam. You need that extra stam sustain sometimes. Moving on to the skill bar, we're gonna get into the front bar of the Fart Blade. First skill, Merciless Resolve. I mean, this is just a magic bow morph. It does more damage, pretty simple. Please use it. Next ability is Camo Hunter. This gives you major savagery for having it slotted. Gives you a lot of crit chance and minor berserk and some weapon damage scaling. Very, very good to have on Blade. Next skill is Rally. This functions your Vate Shrine, gives you a burst heal, minor endurance, pretty good. Mistform. This is one of my favorite skills to run, period, but especially on Nightblade. It's basically an all counter for a couple seconds. It costs you 900 magicka a second, but we run Wretched, so we have like 2100 recovery, so we can use this basically as much as we want. While you're in Mistform, you take 75% less damage. So if you know that you're about to get ult dumped or you're about to, eat shit basically from a bunch of people, you could pop into Mistform, and for like just chilling in it for 3 seconds, that's like 3000 magicka. You basically take 75% less damage from all attacks for 3 seconds. Now, it depends how you use this, right? If you use this every time somebody light attacks you, you're going to be draining your magicka, and it's really not going to be giving you that much benefit. But if you use Mistform every time somebody ults you, think about it. You've just mitigated 75% damage for 900 magicka. And what's crazy is that you can leave Mistform with your own attacks. And if you're even targeted on an enemy, you can even leave it with like a locked animation. Let me show you. So if I'm looking at this guy, and I'm in Mistform, I can pop in Mistform, and you see how my ability is actually highlighted. That means I can come out of Mistform safely and land that attack. So, this gets problematic when you can tank out a meteor for like 600 magic, and then immediately after the meteor's done, you pop out and you incap somebody. Mistform is a very strong tool, like as a counter, as a a movement tool. You have Major Expedition, you don't get affected by snares, you can just move through things. It's a very mobile skill. It's one of the most powerful skills in my opinion. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this is way better than Dark Cloak. I don't know about Invis. I mean, Invis is pretty strong too, but I love this for my playstyle. So the next skill on my bar is Surprise Attack. You could run Concealed Weapon if you wanted to. Concealed Weapon would give you 10% damage and 15% movement speed for having it slotted basically, and it would pop every time that you use Mistform. But I don't want to use Mistform every time I want to kill somebody. Like, if you use Concealed, then you literally only have damage for 6 seconds, and it's tied to your Mist. It's a lot more usable with like Path on the ground, where that's always giving you speed and making you fast. And the automatic crit that you get from Surprise Attack is really lethal. This makes it so that your first Surprise Attack every time is going to do a considerable amount of damage. I really like Surprise Attack. I think it's better for this build. For this build specifically, I'm going to say it's better. For other builds like Dual Wield and Destro, maybe go Concealed if you're using Path. That's probably going to put in more work for you. But for this specific setup, please go Surprise Attack. Try it out. We're also in 6 medium, so just for our ultimate, we have Incap. I've tried a bunch of different ultis. I mean, Dawnbreaker's fine, Meteor's fine, Soul Tether's fine. You can run whatever you want. You could even run Soul Harvest if you want a major defile. Incap is just so fun. It's just it. It's why you play Nightblade. It's really fun. The best way to use Incap is actually with a cancel. A lot of people, they hear the Incap animation, they're like, oh, okay, I know I'm about to get an Incap to the dome, so let me just block up and not worry about that. But if you're playing Nightblade right, and you know how to cancel things, There are ways to hide the animation for Incap, so you still get the damage bonus on people without them realizing that they've been hit with an Incap. So let me show you. What I'm about to do is a light attack Incap bash cancel. Here you go. So you see how it like barely even made a sound or a sound effect there. If somebody gets hit by that, they usually don't know that they have an Incap damage buff on them.
Ooh, clapped.
I'm trying to hit Ninja, but he's just out of range. Bruh, I'm medium weaving you. Why won't you get stunned? The frick is wrong with this game? Nah, Ninja, watch the stream back. You got carried by performance. Nah, you just got carried by performance.
It's a really great way to sneak in that damage on people. Getting into the back bar, the first ability is Shade, and this is probably one of the best abilities on Nightblade, one of my favorites too. It has a range of 28 meters, which is really important to keep in mind, and this is basically your get out of jail free card. It's an undo ult on a spammable. It's amazing. You just put this thing down, and then wherever you were like 20 seconds ago, you just teleport back. Boom. So if you're about to die, let's say you have your Shade up here, and you're about to get shit on, you have a bunch of people smacking the hell out of you with ults and stuff. The minute you get to 0% health, you can just press Shade, pop out, hit a burst heal, roll dodge, and you're fine. Come around here, put down a Shade, go back around again and start stuff, and then teleport back. There are times when I'm playing, and I'm at 0% health, and I have a Shade down, I just teleport back, hit a burst heal, and I'm good to go. I'm good to keep fighting again. It's a really, really strong skill. And if you love Nightblade and you want to get good with Shade, I have a nice little drill here for you that you can do. It's really not hard to do, and you can get better with Shade instantly in like 10 minutes just doing this. So, put down your Shade, and walk out from it. And walk right until you get to the very tip of your Shade. The very tip. Now I want you to walk in a circle while staying on that tip. That's what she said. And then as you get to the end of your Shade's duration, teleport in, place another one down, go back out to the edge, and then keep walking in a circle. And every time you hit a barrier, you can either like just keep walking into it or Shade back and put down another one. And then just keep going around. This will get you used to being on the limit of your Shade. And why this is a really important drill is that let's say you're right here and you're getting shit on and you need to Shade. You're just going to put down a new Shade. You're not actually going to teleport anywhere. So if I'm at 0% health and I press Shade, I'm just going to do nothing and die. So if you're not within Shade's range and you try and press it, you are screwed. It's really important to understand the limits of your Shade. And it gets to the point where like, I know this is the very limit of my Shade, right here. Any more than this, I'm not going to be able to teleport back. And it becomes basically like memory to you. You don't need a tracker or anything. You can just memorize it. It's about like right here-ish. And then I can stay basically right on the edge if I really, really focus and try and get good with it. I'm like right on the edge moving around. And it'll get to the point where you literally know Shade's range and you're not thinking about it. That's when you know how to use Shade. Another thing to keep in mind if you want to use Shade effectively is that Shade should be the first thing in your back bar rotation. Like when you're outnumbered and you got people on you, Shade should be your #1 priority. That's why it's literally the first ability on my bar. So I know it's the first thing I gotta hit. If you make Shade your #1 priority every time you put it on the back bar, then you won't forget to place it down. Next skill in the back bar is Resolving Vigor. This gives you like 3k resistances now for some reason, so that's cool. But yeah, that's really it. Next ability is Healthy Offering, gives you minor mending, really strong burst heal. I mean, it's a great burst heal. Phantasmal Escape, this is a flex spot on the back. I like this ability because it makes your roll dodges literally dirt cheap. This got updated recently. It's a very, very nice skill. Like with full well fitted and this, you can literally roll dodge for free sometimes. It's super, super strong and saves you a lot of stam. I would either go with Phantasmal Escape, Refreshing Path, if you wanted to maybe use like Concealed Weapon, or you just want a little more healing. Refreshing Path is actually very good. Or I would use leeching strikes on the back. This is going to give you stamina back, and basically is going to keep giving you value even when you're in misform. If you're misforming everywhere, you're not really roll dodging, right? So then what does Phantasmal do for you? But if you have leeching strikes, when you're done misforming for like 10 seconds, you can hit a leeching and get 3k stam back. Especially because you aren't regenning anything while in misform. So that makes leeching very appealing. Last ability on the back bar is Reaper's Mark. This is a bit of a controversial one. I mean, people don't really run this ability, but I love it. So, you put this on somebody, and it basically makes it so that if you YOLO for the kill, if you full send it for the kill, you get rewarded. You will live if you kill them. If you don't kill them, you're screwed. So it's all on you. I love the gamble associated with this skill. There are times when I kill people and I'm at like 0% health right after I kill them, and I get healed to full from this. This also, if you're in Battlegrounds and you see people just getting zerged left and right, just hit them with a mark. When they die, you get 10% damage done. You know, their misfortune is your fortune. There are times when I've had this buff active for like 40 seconds straight in a Battleground. So I'm not really missing out on that concealed weapon buff. It's a pretty strong skill, I recommend you try it. And then on the back bar, we have Soul Tether. This is going to give you healing for having it slotted. Also an AoE stun. And I hate the freaking cast time on this. The 0.5 second cast time always gets me killed when I use this ability. Getting into the CP, you want to follow this layout exactly. You don't need 4 stars, you only need 3 stars. You want to make it so that everybody else in PvP really has a chance. So we have Fighting Finesse here, Deadly Aim with only like 2 points in it, and then Ironclad. I am transferring from PlayStation, only have like 500 CP, so pain. And then the red tree, I only have 3 stars. I got Survival Instincts, Pain's Refuge, and Sustained by Suffering. You can really put on whatever you want. I would go with a lot of damage CP. Maybe like Ironclad and 3 damage CP, because you already have Rally and Wretched. You probably need some damage. I would go with that. And then the fitness tree, put on Celerity when you get it. Movement speed is goated. Celerity or Refreshing Stride. And so yeah, that's basically the build. If you watched this video, found the information helpful, consider leaving a like, and let me know how the build works out for you. If you want to see more content, consider dropping a sub, and we're going to get into some gameplay here. This is a clip from one of my streams. This is dual wield and bow though. I think I was messing around with one of the setups. Basically the same gear though. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.
Hey, I'll dodge the ballistas. I don't mind. Okay, now you got a snipe bitch too. Hey, I didn't say all that. Mine. Overload, okay. Bro, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what the fuck? Okay, it's just you, Sorc. Can handle that. What are you doing, bro? You're dead. Break free. Oh my god. Oh, you built like that. You built like that. Pussy.